Hello! In today's video, we shall learn in detail about Adiantum Fern. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding about morphology of Adiantum, transverse section of its root, transverse section of its rhizome, transverse section of its petiole, reproduction showing alternation of generations between a diploid sporophyte and a haploid gametophyte or Prothallus. Let us begin with the introduction to Adiantum fern. Adiantum is a large genus of ferns commonly known as Maidenhair Fern or walking fern. It is a delicate perennial fern belonging to division Pteridophyta and family Pteridaceae. It is naturally found in moist, shady environment with high humidity. Adiantum is predominant in tropical and temperate regions of the world. The sporophyte plant body is differentiated into rhizome, roots, and leaves. The gametophyte is a small, heart-shaped, green, photosynthetic structure called the Prothallus. It bears sex organs, Antheridia and Archegonia on its underside. Sporophyte is the dominant phase while the gametophyte is independent but short-lived phase. Let us learn about the morphology of the plant. The plant body is a sporophyte which consists of a rhizome which is perennial and dichotomously branched covered in scales or palliae. Rhizome may be erect as in Adiantum caudatum or creeping as in Adiantum capillus veneris. From the underside of the rhizome arise a number of adventitious roots. These roots are thin, branched, and help in anchorage and water absorption. The underground rhizome of the mature sporophyte plant is covered by hairy outgrowths called ramenta. The leaves of fronds are pinnately compound with fan-shaped leaflets or pinnae. They arise on the rhizome in acropetal succession. The stalk or petiole of the leaf is long, hard, wiry, shiny, black or brown in color. The young leaf or frond is rolled from the apex towards the base, which is referred to as circinate vernation. The rachis is the main axis of the compound leaf, which is hard, wiry, and shiny. It bears the leaflets or pinnules, which lack a central midrib. The venation present in the leaflets is characteristically free and dichotomous. A distinct median dorsal groove is present on the adaxial side of the rachis. Leaves bear marginal sori on the ventral surface, which are covered by a flap of tissue or a false indusium. By the way, if you're getting some value out of this video, please like and share the video so that all of us can learn, unlearn, and relearn together. Also, please consider subscribing the channel and press the bell icon to get instant notification of all the upcoming videos. Next, let us learn about the transverse section of Adiantum root. Transverse section of Adiantum root can be differentiated into epidermis, cortex, and the central vascular cylinder or stele. Epidermis is the outermost layer, which is unicellular with unicellular root hairs. It helps in water and mineral absorption. Outer cortex is white, composed of large, thin-walled parenchymatous cells which help in storage An inner cortex is narrow, composed of thick-walled sclerenchymatous cells which give mechanical support to the root. The stele is a protostele present in the central part of the root. Endodermis is the innermost layer of cortex with characteristic Casparian strips or thickenings. Inner to the endodermis is a layer of thin-walled cells, the pericycle. Xylem is centrally located, typically diarch and exarch, that is, protoxylem is present on the outer side while the metaxylem is present in the center. Phloem is located on either side of the xylem. Next is transverse section of rhizome. A transverse section of rhizome shows distinct epidermis, a large cortex, and a central vascular cylinder or stele. The epidermis is single-layered and covered by cuticle. It may show the presence of multicellular hairs or ramenta. The cortex may be divided into outer cortex or hypodermis, which is made up of 2 or 3 layers of thick-walled sclerenchymatous tissue, and an inner cortex made up of thin-walled parenchymatous cells. Sometimes the cortex may be completely parenchymatous. The young rhizome has amphiploic siphonostele, also known as solenostele, and the older rhizome has advanced dictyostele. The amphiploic siphonostele shows the presence of a central pith and xylem surrounded by phloem on both its outer and inner sides. A dictyostele is derived from a siphonostele. It is a vascular cylinder which breaks up into several independent vascular bundles called meristeles and are arranged in rings. Each meristele has xylem in the center surrounded by phloem. Next is the transverse section of Adiantum Petiole. The transverse section of petiole shows a single-layered outermost epidermis covered by a thick cuticle. The outer cortex or the hypodermis consists of few layers of sclerenchymatous cells. The inner cortex or the ground tissue is made up of thin-walled parenchymatous cells. The endodermis and the pericycle surrounds the vascular bundle or stele. The vascular bundle contains a single large central horseshoe-shaped vascular strand. It consists of a central xylem surrounded by phloem. The xylem is often triarch and exarch. In other words, the TS of petiole shows several amphicribal meristeles surrounded by parenchymatous ground tissue and a sclerenchymatous hypodermis. Next is reproduction in Adiantum. Vegetative reproduction in Adiantum is with the help of adventitious buds produced at the leaf tips. As the leaf bends, the buds come in contact with the soil and develop into new individuals. This process may be repeated, leading to the walking habit as seen in Adiantum caudatum. Adiantum species shows alternation of generations between a diploid sporophyte and a haploid gametophyte or Prothallus. Adiantum species is homosporous. Spores are produced in clusters submarginally in Sori on the underside of the pinnules or leaflets. These marginal sori are protected by a flap of tissue or a false indusium. Each sorus contains several sporangia. A mature sporangium is stalked with 3 rows of cells. The stalk at its tip bears a biconvex capsule. The capsule is single-layered and contains a mass of spores. The spores within the sporangium are formed by the reduction division of the spore mother cells. The haploid spores are homosporous and tetrahedral in shape. Spores have a 2-layered wall, outer exine and inner intine. The capsule wall is thin but has a thickened vertical oblique annulus and a thin walled stomium for the release of spores. When the spores mature, the capsule bursts at the stomium, releasing the spores. On falling upon a suitable substratum, the spores germinate and give rise to a germ tube. The germ tube divides transversely several times, forming a short filament or protonema. The lowest cell forms the lateral rhizoid, while the apical cell forms the prothallus. The prothallus of Adiantum is multicellular, small, independent, green, heart-shaped gametophyte. It bears rhizoids on the underside which help in anchorage and water absorption. Adiantum species are monoecious and both male and female sex organs are found on the same prothallus. The male sex organs Antheridia are present among the rhizoids at the posterior end of the prothallus. The female sex organs Archegonia are formed near the apical notch at the anterior end of the prothallus. Antheridia are small, globular structures containing the male reproductive cells, the anthrozoids or male gametes, formed from the anthrozoid mother cell. The anthrozoids are multiciliated and twisted. The archegonium is flask-shaped with a swollen basal portion, the venter, and a slender neck. The venter encloses a single large egg cell or ovum with an egg nucleus or the female gamete. The neck is short and curved with neck canal cells which later degenerate. The mature anthrozoids are set free and they swim in water and come towards the archegonium. The male gametes enter the venter and one of them fuses with the egg nucleus or female gamete. Fertilization results into a zygote. The zygote gives rise to an embryo. The embryo then develops into a young sporophyte. The prothallus decays. The sporophyte grows into a new fern plant. Finally, let us understand the life cycle of Adiantum. Adiantum fern passes through 2 distinct stages or generations to complete its life cycle. The leafy fern plant itself is the diploid dominant sporophyte and the heart-shaped prothallus is the gametophyte. The diploid sporophyte produces haploid spores by reduction division and forms the gametophyte. The gametophyte produces male and female gametes which fuse to form a diploid zygote and gives rise to the sporophyte or the fern plant, completing the cycle. So today we have learnt in detail about Adiantum fern, its life cycle showing alternation of generations. I have some practice questions for you. Please share your answers in the comment section below. You can pause the video and write down the questions if you like. Thank you so much for your time and participation. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please consider subscribing the channel and press the bell icon to get instant notification of all the upcoming videos. Also, if you want to discuss any particular topic in biology, please mention that in the comments section below. I'll see you there. Goodbye. All the best.